This week's guides are brought to you by Star Trek Fleet Command. Download the game in the description down below and beat the tutorial to help support the Twitchiest community and charity. We're going to be donating $1,000 if we reach 250 downloads and tutorial completions, all the way up to $2,000 if we get 450 downloads and tutorial completions. So check it out down in the description below. Help support the Twitchiest community, charity, and play a fun game while you're at it. Hello everybody, welcome to your Ravana jungle guide. So we're going to be starting off with our good old-fashioned Eye of the Jungle, a tier 1 mace, and then we'll grab our 2 health pots and our Hand of the Gods. Ravana right now is a decent jungler. Wouldn't quite put him at the top of the meta, but I wouldn't disregard him entirely either. He does have his situations where he is good, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on in terms of his matchups. So at level 1, we are going to grab our 1. This is also the ability that we are going to go ahead and max out first. This ability is going to be a small damage-based cone in front of us that also slows. So what exactly is Ravana's purpose? Ravana's purpose is kind of a high mobility slash high survivability assassin. He provides quite good CC to his team. He's one of the more survivable assassins because of his full kit layout and his passive. And he's not too shabby at ganks because of his base numbers. So Ravana kind of drops off a little bit later in the game. He's definitely more of the early to mid game jungler. He's not gonna hyper carry or anything. He does provide good setup for the team, and he provides good burst damage, especially early on. So you want to make sure that you're going a little gank heavy on the Ravana, because in the earlier stages of the game you will get a lot more value out of the Ravana. So right here I'm gonna rotate over to the dual lane. I see a beach come out from the Danta. That means I should be able to follow up with my root easily. So that root is our third ability. That is the one that we leveled up at level 2. And it's also the ability that we're gonna max out second after our 1. This is going to be a kick in front of us, has a small little channel time. It does damage upon hitting the target. It will go through minions, hits one god only, and it also heals. So this is gonna heal through the minions to the god. So in order to get the maximum heal out of this, you actually have to hit both. So you can hit up to 3 minions plus a god, and you will get a heal for each. So preferably you would actually want to root like through a wave of creeps and then hit the god at the end, and then you'll get a 4 times heal of whatever the base default value is, which is 10 to 70. Becomes a pretty thick heal. Level 4, we're gonna grab our 2. This is the ability that makes Ravana so dang hard to kill, and this is a immunity frame, much like Chang'e's 2, that also gives her an immunity frame, except Ravana's also gives him a giant movement speed buff, and it does damage. It does a little bit of a damage flick kick dealio right in front of you, so when you click it, you get a little overhead kick. It's actually one of the more aesthetic abilities in the entire game of Smite. And then finally, we get our ultimate here at level 5. And our ultimate is going to be a long range leap that smashes down at target location, does a bunch of damage, and it also gives us damage mitigation. So he's got damage mitigation built into his kit, he's got CC, he's got invulnerability, he's got heals, and finally his passive, which gives us a shield as we use our abilities. As we're punching people in the head, we are going to start to gain these passive stacks, and every time it goes around to those 8 stacks, it is going to give us a shield and also some bonus movement speed. You can have up to 3 of them active at the same time. Bonus movement speed, check. Bonus HP, check. Healing, check. Slows, check. Roots, checks. Mitigations, check. So he has a lot of great stuff in his kit. On paper, I would actually say he has probably one of the better assassin kits, but sometimes on paper it doesn't always work out. I'm gonna blink at this Scylla, waiting for him to dash, so I can follow up with a little 3 overhead kick and be able to wrap up that kill. So where does Ravana thrive? Ravana thrives in actually the exact situation that we are in right now, against a god like Scylla. Ravana is the go-to pick against big damage mage ultis. That's really where you're looking to get him. So Scylla, Kukulkan, Ra, Poseidon, any of those guys that rely on that one massive damage ability. Also, a lot of them tend not to have necessarily getaway skills. Scylla's probably the hardest getaway skills out of all of them, because you have 2 ways to avoid their damage. You've got a CC immune ulti that you can use whenever. Doesn't matter if you're in a Poseidon whirlpool or nothing. Plus, you've got your invulnerability on your 2. Plus, we're going to end up having beads as our active, so we could also beads and just walk out to begin with. So we've got a lot of options to avoid that one-time big burst of damage, which is where you want to be picking Ravana. As a person who plays a lot of Scylla, I could let you know that Ravana is one of the banes of my existence. There's very little you can do about him, especially if he's blinking onto you, because then he can follow you over the walls with your dash. For the official level order on Ravana, that is going to be our ultimate every time we can. Our ultimate gives us pretty much every single stat as we rank it up, including cooldown, so we get less cooldown on the ability, we get more mitigations, and we get more damage. The damage increase that we get after hitting a target with our ultimate does not actually level up at all. So right now, I'm just going to look straight towards the Scylla. Looks like he's probably going to run away in time. That's fine. If Scylla goes for that route, I can just go ahead and use my 2. No big deal. Not going to waste it, though, on the Kumbhakarna, just in case they tried to follow up with some better abilities. Really good block right there from our Sobek. Should allow us to grab this quick kill. Unfortunately, coming down from the Kumbhakarna ulti is going to get our Sobek killed as well. So once again, that is your ulti. Then you're going to level up the 1 for the pure damage in the clear to low cooldown ability. Then you level up your 3 for the damage and the heal. Finally, leveling up your 2 for the damage and that CDR. So that is 4, 1, 3, 2 on Ravana. As far as pairings that Ravana wants to be put with, Ravana doesn't really care. He doesn't need to be paired with anybody in particular. He doesn't have any like crazy synergy with other gods. In fact, I would argue kind of the opposite. He's kind of a god that you can pick when you're like, well, my mid doesn't need any setup. We don't necessarily need frontline. We don't necessarily need a hyper carry. He just kind of fits in the void by just giving you a little bit more of everything. A little bit more backline damage, a little bit more CC, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that. So I gotta be probably careful right here. Still looking at this Guan Yu. I'm gonna save my ultimate just in case I need it to get away. My auto attacks is actually gonna be enough to beat him down right there because he is only level 7. And now I can go running through the jungle. So for our first item on Ravana, we are going to get ourselves the Jotun's Wrath. This can also be a Brawler's Beat Stick. Against this team, they do have the Guan Yu. So I'm going to need the Brawlers eventually, but he's also a little bit behind, so I don't feel the need to get it right this second. So I'm probably going to do the Jotun's Wrath for the earlier CDR, and then get myself into a Brawlers. A lot of our damage on Ravana is going to come from utilizing high cooldowns to really abuse his baseline damage, because he does have quite good baseline numbers. His 1 does 310 damage, his 3 goes up to 260, up to 500 on his ulti, another 210 on his 2. So as long as we've got our abilities up with low CDR, chances are we're doing a solid amount of damage. So for our standard combo, we're gonna blink in on the target. We're gonna try to hit them with a slow and then follow up on them with the root. I gotta use my 2 right there to immune the Kumakarnamez, and then use my ulti to get away from the Guan Yu ult. Keep in mind, you cannot use Ravana 2 when you already CC'd. This is not a cleanse. This has to be used preemptively. So if Kumakarnamez would have hit me, I would have been stuck in the Mez. 2 wouldn't have got me out. Because I used the 2 before the Mez, stops the Mez from ever hitting me. That is important to note. This game, we may end up getting a hi-rez. Hi-rez is a pretty good damage item on Ravana because he does have 4 damaging abilities. He has 4 pretty straightforward, easy procs of the hi-rez to get a lot of efficacy out of it. So make sure that you're getting yourself in the habit of auto attack canceling. Auto attack canceling really just means using your auto attacks in between your abilities. For Ravana, it's actually usually a double auto. So you'll see a lot of times when I'm clearing, I'll do an ability double auto, ability double auto. That's because of his attack chain. It's 0.75, 0.5. So you can actually get the double auto off really quick. So I can go 1 auto, auto, and then use an ability auto, auto. And that is just specifically a Guan Yu, I'm gonna use my 2 right here to immunity that Guan Yu ultimate to grab myself a quick kill. I see the Willix right here. He's going to have to use his jump to get away. I don't know if his blink is up or not, but if it's not, then he is gonna be dead right here to my smash over that wall. Plus his speed buff is up, so I'm gonna be able to go ahead and W key right at that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and back up, grab myself my Brawler's Beat Stick, and of course our beads, and then I'm gonna start working into that hi-rez. The hi-rez is gonna give me that extra little oomph on this damage. All in just making sure that you get your auto attacks in between. Ability, auto, ability, auto, ability, auto. Before you get the hi-rez, I use the double auto proc just because you can abuse that 0.75 0.5 Ravana auto attack time. Once you get the hi-rez, you really just want to do 1 auto in between. Just to maximum utilize the actual hi-rez procs themselves. So at this stage of the game, we're still early on. My Ravana damage is still quite strong. I would say that your Ravana is going to start dropping off around the 25-minute marker.
America to the rescue.
The 25-minute marker is basically the ultra late game right now for Smite. So that's when you probably will stop one-shotting people. Your combo won't quite do as much as it used to, but you still get a lot of CC utilization. Some other notable items on Ravana, especially if you take him a little bit tankier. Ravana does have the option and the versatility to be able to go a tankier build. So this is going to be a more damage-oriented build. More focused on killing the backline because they have a Scylla and because Ravana is so good at killing Scylla. I felt like being able to just dash right into the backline and go for these quick kills on her so she doesn't get the ulti resets was the way to go. So that is why I've gone more damage oriented. Otherwise, you could still get some other items that you see very often right now. I'm going to blink in towards this guy, hit him with a root right as he goes into his old leafy form. Try to land another auto, maybe 2 on him, and then get ourselves back out of here. So those other items include Shifter Shield. Shifter Shield is a fantastic item, lots of power, still get protection, and even after the nerf, it is still one of the best items in the game. You also have Chile, which I would probably recommend getting on Ravana all the time. It just makes you that much more annoying for the god that you're diving in on. You ulti in on a god, you do bonus damage to them now, you take less damage from them, and if they try to turn around and peel for themselves, they get silenced. So Chile and Ravana ulti have a really natural pairing together. So keep it in mind for both aggressive and defensive builds. Another item that tends to be quite good on Ravana is Soul Eater. Soul Eater is a little bit slower in the early stages of the game, but it does tend to transition pretty well into the late stages of the game. So if you do decide to go the Soul Eater, I wouldn't get it probably later than about your third item, because you do want to start getting it stacked and getting it going, even though Soul Eater is fairly easy to stack. And that is going to allow you to get some more healing on your abilities. So your 3 already heals you, right?
Another patriot has
So if you throw some additional healing on top of that, plus all of your other abilities do, plus it's already hard to hit Ravana to begin with, you can actually become quite tanky on Ravana with just a couple of items. Like you throw in a Soul Eater and a Chile, and all of a sudden you're at one tough cookie. Now you will lose a little bit of your burst potential off of that compared to this build where we're going just a lot more damage oriented. But even in this build where we grabbed the Jotuns and the Warrior Tabai, if I didn't need the anti-healing, then I wouldn't necessarily need the Brawler's Beat Stick, and I could have gotten maybe a Soul Eater in that spot. Or Shifters, or Chile, or really any of those items. Fun little general fact of the Pyromancer. If you're about to be hit by that Pyromancer AoE, not only can you CC him out of it, but if you have a jump ability, you can actually jump up and jump over that ability when he is casting it, and you will not get that debuff on you that makes you take extra damage. Just a fun little tidbit there for you. So for our next item, we're going to be going into that hi-rez, and after our hi-rez, we are going to try to get ourselves that Eye of the Jungle into the Protector of the Jungle. I'm going to ulti over this wall because I actually have an opportunity to get the fastest level 20 that I've gotten this season. I've yet to get level 20 at the 15-minute marker, and we did it. Level 20 at the 15-minute marker. That is by far my fastest one. Earlier, my record was just under 17, so we would just beat our record from 1659 to 1534. Not a bad increase in the record for level 20. All right, so let's go ahead and get ourselves the hi-rez Lament. Let's get ourselves the Protector of the Jungle, and we've still got some cash left over. So at this point, I'm gonna get myself into that Chile, so I get that silent effect. It's also going to cap me out at that 40% CDR marker. Another item you might want to consider is Erendite. Erendite tends to pair really well with your ultimate, where you ulti in on somebody, you land down, and then now you've got that bonus movement speed just to make sure that you can actually keep in the range of them.
double kill.
If for some reason all of the CC in your kit doesn't end up being enough. Another little fun tidbit for Ravana. This is not Ravana's initial kit. Ravana was actually originally a warrior, and is widely considered to be the worst god release of all time. Of all time. Only one player really particularly liked him, and that was Divios. Divios, the old solo laner. He doesn't play anymore competitively, but Divios actually liked his kit quite a bit, and he was classed as a warrior. And his ultimate used to actually follow you like a homing missile. It used to do basically 0 damage, but it would follow you like a homing missile. And there was a bug where if you ulted on a target, as they were about to back, you would actually homing missile yourself all the way into their fountain. It was hilarious. And one of many, many, many problems that were abundant in Ravana's original warrior kit. So here at the end of the game, we got ourselves a nice early fire giant. So we are beefy. So we can go ahead and walk around this map, just kind of taking whatever we want. We don't have any creeps with us, so we do need to be a little bit careful. Wheelix ulti's in right there. I'm gonna use my avoidance just to go ahead and avoid that Danza rocket. I'm keeping my eyes right here. A Wheelix and Scylla probably need to be my target above all else. And we do have the creeps coming up. But I don't want to go in too far by myself. Gonna ulti right here in on the Wheelix. Gonna use my backflip kick right there to try to finish the kill. Scylla looks like she's going for the ult, so I'm gonna follow up immediately with the root right onto him. I do have my blink if I could get it off, but there's no way I'm gonna be able to. So I'm just gonna go right back for the mid Phoenix. Maybe I can try to just get outside of the range of aggro, and I can blink in here towards the Scylla, possibly be able to get here out of position, maybe grab a kill. Yeah, I should be able to follow right up on Scylla. Little slow, little auto, grab ourselves that kill. They've got respawns coming up soon. We've got 2 Phoenixes down. We should go ahead and back it up. Consider this a pretty big win. Now we need to back up, finish our Chile, and try to get ourselves into a 6th item. Honestly, this game, because I've gone a very aggressive build, and I have not been punished for going this very aggressive build, I might even finish it up with that Erendite if I had a 6th item. Would it overcap me on CDR? Yes. One, overcapping in CDR is not that big of a deal right now. Anybody that tells you otherwise is lying. A lot of builds right now end up with 50, even 60% CDR, especially once you factor in things like the red pot cooldown, because there's just a lot of good CDR on items. Now, what I can do as well is sell my Jotun's Wrath at that stage of the game as well, replace it with an Erendite, because Erendite, for all intents and purposes, is just a better Jotun's Wrath at that stage of the game once you no longer need CDRs. That's actually something I can probably do right now. Go ahead and sell my Jotun's Wrath, replace it with an Erendite. Now, I've still got 30% CDR, so when I pop me a nice red pot, I've got 40% CDR still in this build, but I'm going to get a little bit more power and a little bit more damage value out of the Erendite now that I don't need the Jotuns for its early game 20% CDR that it was giving me. You need it in the early game. You pretty much always sell Jotuns in the ultra late end. Now their team is coming together pretty hard and playing well together as a team, and we are getting picked off quite big right now. So I'm looking right at this Danza. I'm gonna ulti right down on top of him. Luckily the Guan Yu meditation doesn't actually heal for that much. Should be able to follow with a nice little root auto right here. Gonna use my 2 for the immunity. You can immunity frame out of roots because roots are not a hard CC in Smite. They are a soft CC. I'm gonna go ahead and blink and root on the Kuma. Gonna once again use my 2 right here to immune that. Slow him down just a little bit more. I don't know if we're gonna be able to grab that kill. And now I need to back out because I'm getting too greedy. I gotta look over towards this Wheelix, who unfortunately does feather step my root.
Let's go.
But he has to use his bees to get out anyway. Our right side Phoenix is about to respawn over here, so let's make sure we get rid of this as soon as it spawns. Gonna have my hi-rez proc ready to go. And we should be able to take out that Phoenix, no problem. And now I'm gonna call back from the Fire Giant. We should all reset, get ready for another little Fire Giant. Even without the Danza here, we could probably do it as long as like our Sobek or somebody is tanking. And we've got the Scylla for secure, and their Scylla is dead.
Attack Fire Giant. Where to run?
So my main target right now is Scylla. She is level 18, doing a lot of damage. After Scylla, it is Danza, and then after Danza, it is the Wheelix. That is my current target order for my prioritization. They've got 3 people over in right lane. Pushed up pretty hard. It looks like they understand that they were actually in a pretty awkward location. So now we can just go for mid, because that mid Phoenix is about to respawn. Depending on how the fight for the mid Phoenix goes, we possibly go for the end of the game, or maybe even reset back to start shoving up the minions and left to go for that left Phoenix. So I'm kind of waiting for somebody else to initiate. Once that fight starts, now I can go get in on it. I don't want to have to beads a Kumba Mez, but I am going to have to go ahead and beads the Wheelix option right here. And this fight is going pretty well for us. I'm looking towards the Danza. I see him over on the side. I am very low, so I got to start running away from all of this scariness. Loki's going to pick up all of these kills for us, so I don't even have to worry about it. And at this point now, I just play defensive. Wait for the team to come into the Titan room, and we should be able to go ahead and end this game. So on Robin, you do have the options of playing him tankier and more damage oriented. I find more damage oriented Robin to be a little bit more fun, and I find that his ability to assassinate backline squishies, particularly those mages that rely on big wombo ultis, Kukulkan, Scylla, Ra, Poseidon, etc. All of those guys really struggle with Robin because they typically have a big ult in a form of CC that they use to help hit the ult, and Robin can both immune the CC itself and avoid the big ulti follow-up damage, so it tends to be really hard for a god like Scylla to get her hands on guys. And that is our Robin, a jungle guy. Don't forget to download Star Trek Fleet Command and support the Twitchiest community and charity by downloading it from the description down below, and beating that tutorial takes about 10 minutes. Thank you for supporting the Twitchiest community. If you'd like to see more videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel and always hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thank you for all your support and have a Twitchin' day, y'all.